I just saw videos of my fiancé cheating at her bachelorette party, and I don't know what to do. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. I'm a 33-year-old male, and I just saw videos of my 29-year-old fiancé cheating at her bachelorette party. I cannot believe I'm involved in a story like this. I haven't actually talked to anyone about what happened, even though a lot of people are trying to. I think I just need to vent a little before I talk to anyone. My girlfriend and I were together for 4 years, and we were engaged to be married. Last weekend, she had her bachelorette party, and I didn't have a problem with it, especially after she told me what was the plan. Her and her friends were going to rent an Airbnb or something, a big place with like 4 bedrooms, and they were just going to get trashed and party and hang out. The day of the party, she was in my place, a 2-bedroom apartment, 1 room I use as a home office, and I am a self-employed investor. She makes all the arrangements and goes to meet with her friends. We texted a little, but as the party warmed up, we stopped and I figured they were just having fun. After midnight, I started getting ready for bed and noticed that the computer in my office isn't turned off. Rather, the black screen was just a screensaver. It turns out my fiancé had not logged out and her messenger was still open on the computer. There was a group chat where her and her girlfriends had been planning everything, and a lot of videos were uploaded to that chat. I was a little curious, so I started watching some of the videos. Most of them were pretty innocent, just a group of 15 girls getting sloshed, lit up Blaziken style and dancing or whatever. And there was a video of a woman going to the front door and about 10 guys enter the apartment. I don't know who they were and I didn't recognize anyone. There were a couple of videos of the guys and girls dancing and drinking, and then the worst happened. A video started of my fiancé making out with the guy on the sofa. She stops and rolls over and starts making out with a second guy. Then there was a video of her and the 2 guys going into a bedroom. There was also a video of them coming out that, according to the timestamps, was 5 minutes later, but that doesn't mean anything. For all I know, the videos were an hour apart and they were all just uploaded at the same time. Seeing all of this was like a sledgehammer. I walked into the bathroom because I thought I would be sick. I wasn't, but I feel like I paced back and forth in the apartment for about 30 minutes. Then I poured myself a rocks glass of Southern Comfort and chugged it down. I saved the videos and then I made one of my own. Just a short little selfie video of me saying, "Hi, this is me, your ex-fiancé. I just wanted to say that I saw the videos from the party and the wedding is off. I hope it was worth it." I'm glad I saved the videos because in less than 10 minutes they were all deleted and my phone started blowing up, but I didn't answer any of the calls or texts. At first, it was just my girlfriend texting saying that she can explain and it's not what it looks like. Then her friends joined in, but I ignored everyone and didn't respond. Then suddenly I got a request for a video chat, and I'll admit my curiosity got the better of me. I answered the call, but I didn't say anything. It was my fiancé sitting in front of the camera and she looked like she had been crying, and the other friends were just around her. I really only know maybe 4 of the friends, but I recognize a lot of the others. First, she started apologizing but kept saying that it wasn't what it looked like. It was just a party and the guys coming over was not a planned thing or anything like that. She said that it might have looked bad, but nothing happened. When I didn't say anything, she just kept going on and on with more of the same, and her friends backed her up. The more that I didn't speak, the more hysterical she got. Eventually, she admitted to kissing the 2 guys, but dumped the blame on her friends, who took all responsibility for that, which surprised me a little. She said the kisses didn't mean anything and that's all that happened. Then she seemed to remember the video of her going into the bedroom and she started screaming that it was just a joke and nothing happened. All the other women confirmed it, that it was just a joke, and then my fiancé had walked into the room and then turned around and walked right out again. This just kept going on and they just kept repeating themselves. Eventually, everyone got quiet and all I said was, "Is there anything else to add?" She said no, and I just ended the video call. I went on to social media and changed my relationship status to single and posted that the wedding was off and if anyone had bought a present, they should feel free to return it. She then saw the post and is freaking out even more and just keeps insisting that all she did was kiss and nothing else. I sent her a text saying if I suspect that her or any of her friends lie about what what's happened or try to make me the bad guy, then I will post all the videos online. Right now, no one else knows what is happening. This was a couple of days ago, and everything for the wedding is canceled, and my fiance just keeps pursuing me. Does anyone have any advice on what I should do from here? Jumping into the future, there is an update. The update is pretty simple. Everything has been called off and canceled. The wedding is officially not happening. I got the ring back and all of her stuff is moved out. She's staying with her parents for now. We did talk a little bit. It was mostly just her begging and apologizing and crying. She keeps insisting that all she did was kiss the guys, and she has never done anything like this before, and she promises it will never happen again. Part of me really wanted to believe her, but the problem is that this incident puts our entire relationship in doubt. I think she may be telling me the truth, but again, the point is there is no way to know. If it is true that her friends pressured her to do it, then how can I believe that they never did it before? We kept going around in circles because ultimately there was just no way that I can be sure. She said she would do anything, including cutting off her friends and only ever drink around me. She really blasted her friends online, saying that if the party had just stuck to the original plan, she would still be getting married, so maybe she already cut them off. All I can say is that at this moment I am single and I'm just gonna live my life. I'll probably take some time to myself after getting out of a 4-year-long relationship, but what's crazy is that a couple of her friends are also texting me just to talk. I haven't responded yet because, well, it's hard to trust them too. Thanks to everyone who expressed sympathy, and I hope none of you ever need to deal with anything like this in the future. So, was I the jerk for how I handled this situation? When the original poster here is talking to the fiance and she says all I did was kiss 2 guys, does she not understand that she kissed 2 guys? Even if you weren't married, you weren't somebody's fiance, you were just boyfriend and girlfriend, she kissed 2 guys. If it was the other way around and he kissed 2 girls when they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't think she would see it as just kissing 2 guys. The way she presents it is as if it's nothing would happen. It's less than nothing. Nothing at all. Just kissed 2 guys and went into a bedroom with them. No big deal. So if only that was true, and that is true, plus whatever else happened, if anything else happened, then that would be more than enough to justify the original poster's decisions here to just walk away from this whole situation before getting locked into a marriage with her. But what he's trying to get at is not only is that true, but he'll never know exactly what happened in that bedroom when those 2 guys that she just kissed brought her into. And one last thing about the whole friends pressuring her into doing this or that. Who cares if her friends are pressuring her into doing anything? She can't make up her own mind to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. When people make those sort of excuses, it reminds me of the personality type that some people have where they don't think any of their own thoughts. They just have their thoughts as a collective amalgamation from everyone around them and things that people tell them instead of deciding for themselves. So in a situation like this, people pressure you, who cares? But if you're of that personality type, then that in her mind is probably a legitimate excuse. They made me do it. I feel for the guy. I hope he's going to be all right. But what would you tell him as a piece of advice to go from here? Let me know down below in jerk or not a jerk and why. My boyfriend of 3 years is hiding a lot of stuff from me and acting strange, and I'm stressed out about it. I'm a 23-year-old female and my boyfriend is 27 years old. We've been together for 3 years and we've been overall great together. We've lived together almost the entire relationship. Lately, his job has been a little bit chaotic. It causes him to stress when people at his job are late giving him things to work on when they're on a time crunch for things to be finished. He makes games. That's as vague as I'm able to be about his job. We seem to be bickering more and more these last few months. Maybe it's the added stress of everything happening lately. We are very direct about apologizing and talking things over usually, so I'm at a loss why it's just been more frequent lately. And then the small things that I've observed are, firstly, he is extremely defensive about his phone. I get it. I get defensive about some things too, usually my sketches. Don't stare at me when I'm drawing and don't look through it without asking, or it drives me mad. Sometimes you want a tiny shred of privacy on something and that's okay, but to suddenly be very defensive over it, like snatching the ring back Gollum style, filthy nasty little hobbitses. And sometimes he literally fights me for it when I pick it up just to Google something, or he has to close a bunch of things or check something first. My phone is there if he needs it. He can look through whatever and I have nothing to hide, and I'm ashamed of nothing on my phone. Secondly, he's changed his computer password. He does this from time to time for work security, but has always told me the new one. I have my own computer and basically never go on his computer since he also uses it for work. But as we have occasion over the years sometimes log into each other's Minecraft and leave corny little I love yous hidden in common areas of the world. He didn't give me the password, but said that he'd help me get on, which is log in himself, open it himself, and then look at me and ask me what I wanted to do so he could do it. It defeats the point, really. I let it go. Thirdly, he abruptly will leave the house. I just hear the front door close and he's gone. It's never for long, probably no longer than 30 minutes or something, but no saying where, no goodbye, nothing. And he comes back like as if nothing happened. I noticed it a few times and it was to use the phone. He has perfect signal in the house and talks to his father and conference calls daily just fine. What could he possibly need to go quickly outside for? Next is the mail. Goodness forgive me if I check the mail. He checks our mailbox constantly. We go out, he checks it. Before we leave, he checks it. And when we come back, he checks it. Even when there's no post on Sundays, even at 12 at night, and he already got the mail. Perhaps it's an odd habit, but to me, it's compulsive. Last week, he specifically told me that I'm not to check the mail or open any mail for the next few weeks. I asked him if there was a reason. He just said it's for him and he can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Let me explain something here. We've been together 3 years and there hasn't ever been an I can't talk about it. We tell each other everything up front. That's always been how we are. There's other things, but I guess I can just associate them with being work related. I'm lost. What the heck is up? There was an edit that added, today his family is in town and will be in town for about a week or so. So tomorrow we are going to a theme park and then basically it's going to be a week of going to dinner / breakfast and the beach and whatever else they want to do with us. Today he had a package show up and took it upstairs. I never saw its contents, just saw him throw the box away. My thought from the box size and the little bits I could read was maybe it was a computer part or some sort of electronic device piece. For those that say that he's cheating, I see how that conclusion could be made, but I left out a lot of things because I'm stressed out. Here are a few facts. He works from home, so he's always here. We live together and hardly ever leave the house alone without the other. He knows no females here that aren't my own friends, and none of them talk to him, to the extent of my knowledge. What my thinking is so far is that he's planning something for his dad since he wasn't there for his birthday last month, and maybe is trying to keep it a total surprise even from me. He makes great money, so there's certainly no bills or anything of that sort. We just bought a house. He has flawless credit. I'll give it time and see if it's continuing while they're here and after. Thank you all for your insight. 2 weeks later, there was an update. Yesterday, I had an appointment with the design center for our new house that we had just bought. His family was in town, so most of the week has been spending time with them. Relatively, he hadn't been acting strange. The appointment went well. When we got home, he asked if I wanted to have that talk now. My heart fell into my stomach. We walked to a nearby park and were quiet on the walk over. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to ask him a question, so I just stayed quiet. We stood on the dock and I was mostly distracted by a couple of dolphins swimming past. You can almost always see a few in the early and the late parts of the day. I turn my head and he hands me an envelope. It is a handmade envelope that he'd drawn my name on. I was a little shaky because I was nervous already about anticipating the worst. I got to the end of the letter in tears, look up, and he dropped to one knee and proposed to me. Holy smokes. I couldn't even talk. I had the letter covering most of my face because I was suddenly an oozing factory of tears and sniffles. The part of this you need to understand is exactly what he'd done. I'm into dark, vintage, and antique odd things. He handmade a letter to look old and vintage. He remembered my favorite pattern was damask for the interior and the outside of the letter. And he got me a teeny tiny itty bitty bat skull from somewhere online that he'd had in a small wooden coffin box with the ring. None of you may find this interesting, but it absolutely melted my heart. The ring is gorgeous. He remembered, I think I told him a few years ago, that I don't like giant rings with giant diamonds and didn't really like diamonds. He instead got a white gold ring with a black onyx stone, and it has 2 tiny diamonds in the sides. I love it. He apologized for all the weirdness over and over, and he was just stressing out about asking and his family and the house. I feel like kind of a jerk. I could never get behind the cheating train, and I knew he didn't do substances, so I was lost in what it could have been. A few of you even suggested he was proposing, and I brushed that off even. I'm still in shock and don't even know what to do with myself. myself, was I the jerk for even considering that this could have been something bad? So a lot of people did think that this guy was actually cheating on her, even though the original poster here didn't think that he was at all. When it came to checking the mail at all hours of the night, that part seemed kind of strange because I was thinking that maybe somebody was delivering something that wasn't the mailman. Somebody was just going up and putting something in there, because why would he check in the middle of the night if he knows that the mail already came? A lot of people shared their stories about situations like this, and one that was pretty funny was someone who said, "My husband decided to show my mom a massive poo my cat had done in the upstairs litter tray. I remember thinking at the time, what the actual F? And deciding to just let him get on with it. Of course, he was actually showing my mom the ring, but that was such a weird lie to tell that my brain just went, you do not want to pry further into this." So this person's husband that had the massive cat poop plan actually worked. I'm sure some of you guys have stories like these, so don't forget you can actually submit your stories via the link down below in the description if you'd like to have them possibly featured here on the channel. But let me know your thoughts on this story, jerk or not a jerk, and why. Am I the jerk for hiding my neighbor's garden gnome because it was scaring my son? My neighbor, Cindy, who's 34, has a large front garden. She grows flowers and some produce. Sometimes she comes over with extras, which is nice. She also has a gnome village in her garden. You know those tacky garden gnomes you see in the lawn and garden stores that you can paint or whatnot? Well, recently, Cindy has got a new gnome. For whatever reason, my 5-year-old son has developed a fear of this particular gnome. I'm not sure why, and yes, I have asked him why. I'm sure he's seen something scary on YouTube or something. The gnome is just a normal gnome with a gardening hoe and a basket of flowers. I decided to talk to Cindy, explain the problem, and asked if she would move the gnome to the back garden or behind the bushes on our patio. Cindy refused. I wasn't asking for much. A few days ago, my son was outside playing and his ball rolled into Cindy's yard. He refused to get it, crying and begging me to get the ball. I got the ball and moved the gnome behind some flower bushes. My plan was to move it back once my son stopped playing. Cindy came out to water the garden and noticed the gnome was gone and demanded to know where it was. She even threatened to call the police on me over a gnome. After I gave her back the gnome, Cindy told me not to come on our property again. I told my wife what happened, and while she thinks Cindy overreacted, she also thinks I shouldn't have taken the gnome. She says our son will get over his fear in time, or he'll just have to play in the back. I think our son has the right to play in his own front yard without being scared of a gnome. Am I the jerk? One of the suggestions for Cindy is to keep moving the gnome closer and closer to the kid's home each day until it's right outside of his bedroom window. I think the actual answer here is to try and help the kid get over whatever is making him scared, but not changing the environment, because there will be a time very soon when you can't change the kid's environment to better suit him. If something like this happens at school and the dad isn't there, what's going to happen to the kid? He's not going to be able to handle it. I don't really think going onto Cindy's property and messing with the gnome is the right call here. There's some examples brought up in a similar vein about dogs. If your kid is really afraid of dogs, you don't take your neighbor's dog and hide the dog or get rid of the dog. If you're trying to do what's best for the kid, you try and help him overcome whatever the fear of dogs is for the kid. And there must be a reason why the dad here suspects that it's something from YouTube. So maybe this kid is just watching YouTube constantly unmonitored and he's looking at scary stuff being a little kid, and that's making this whole thing worse. So maybe they should keep an eye on what the kid is watching on YouTube. I think in the YouTube Kids app, they restrict certain things that they deem are fine for kids to watch and remove everything else. So anyway, how would you handle the situation with the garden gnome, and jerk or not a jerk, and why? When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories in this series, use the playlist at the top of the description. And next time you live stream, use the cream of the crop music. Search for Cream of the Stream on Spotify or whatever music platform you use for copyright-free music to use for your stream. It's free. Cream of the Stream. Either way, thanks a lot for listening. I'll see you guys next time.